欢迎收看今天文茜的世界周报在大年初一为大家制作的欧洲版，在总部是设在 Chicago， 但这个是当时呢很多欧洲的科学家跟美国科学家共同组成的原子科学家公报。这原子科学家公报有一个非常著名叫末日时钟，当时针对的是1947年冷战时期，美国和苏联分别都拥有了原子弹，人类进入核子原子弹可以毁灭性战争的时代，所以就有了末日时钟。但现在末日时钟已经不只是核子战争，还有气候的变迁。2023年年底，这些科学家将世界末日时钟停留在午夜前90秒，并没有时间再往前推到只剩更少，但是也多少提醒我们大家，不要以为你现在很年轻，你还有长长的人生在等待你。事实上，我们将面临一连串的灾难，气候变迁，人类越来越属于互相对立的状况，相信战争，而核子武器正在旁边蠢蠢欲动。
Today, we once again set the doomsday clock to express a continuing and unprecedented level of risk. It is 90 seconds to midnight.
美国原子科学家公报1月23号在华盛顿公布末日时钟。参与评估的科学家们说，这种令人痛苦的倒数计时，是因为险恶的趋势正继续将世界引向全球灾难。
Today's clock setting was still overshadowed by the war in Ukraine, but also the war in Gaza, which has caused enormous human suffering and could lead to a broader conflict in the region involving several nuclear weapon states and regional powers.
原子科学家公报创立于1945年，创始人为二战时期参与原子弹研发的曼哈顿计划的科学家们，包括爱因斯坦、奥本海默等人。
We're so close to entering the third year of that war, what the Secretary General of the United Nations clearly decided to label a war, and it is a war against the people of Ukraine. Now, I think Ukraine is going to be another sad, sad story, and the fact of the matter is that Gaza, it has moved Ukraine out of the center of the story.
Every day we hear new details. Many times the feeling is that each news story is worse than the last. And then in addition to that, we have the war going on, and so every day there are soldiers being killed, there are families who are bereaved.
My children are dead. I've been married for 7 years and I had 4 children in this time. 3 of them died. I have nothing to remind me of them. My husband is dead. My children are dead. The house is gone. And my phone with photos of them on it.
A world where leaders often choose war first as an instrument to resolve differences. We have spent the last 75 years building the new international order, norms, regulations, rules of diplomacy, efforts to keep the peace, efforts to emphasize the need for negotiation first. And in this last year or two, we've begun to see that disappear, to vanish. And that's why I think we call this the age of wars.
Since 1947, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists has been publishing updates on when civilization's final hour will come. This year, the researchers set their doomsday clock to 100 seconds before midnight. This is the closest since the Soviet Union's hydrogen bomb tests in the 1950s.
末日时钟最初设定在距离午夜7分钟，距离毁灭最远的时间是在1991年冷战结束后，距离午夜17分钟。然而，过去几年全球地缘政治改变，民粹狂人辈出，加上气候变迁持续恶化，倒数单位已经从分变成了秒。2023年，科学家决定将距离世界末日的剩余秒数从100秒减少到90秒。这是有史以来最接近末日的一年，今年也维持不变。
2023 was the hottest year on record, and a range of extreme events across the world made more likely by climate change. global greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise.
除此之外，科学家们也担心俄乌战争中使用核武的威胁，以及俄罗斯和美国推动其核武库现代化的努力。声明警告说，这些趋势增加了因误判而爆发核战的风险。
For the first time, at least in my adult life, there is now talk in Washington that the U.S. nuclear arsenal will have to increase also in order to match the arsenals of Russia and China combined.
而科学家们去年关注了人工智慧的发展，今年同样将 AI 列入末日风险名单。
AI was going to be an existential threat to humanity. It turns out there is debate about that, large amount of debate in the community, even among experts. Regardless of whether you believe that it is or is not going to be an existential threat, it's clear that it's a disruptive technology, and it's going to, it has disrupted many segments of society.
值得庆幸的是，许多国家已经认识到监管人工智慧的重要性，开始采取措施减少潜在危害。但要如何结束近乎种族灭绝、泯灭人性的战争呢？
Over 30,000 people have been made martyrs so far, and we don't know what's next. None of the parties will compromise, and the people are the ones paying the price. Death will come to us too. We are still alive, but we're expecting to die any minute.
No one can say when the war in Gaza will end. The whereabouts of the remaining hostages are still unclear, as their relatives fear for their lives. In Gaza itself, people are dying every day in Israeli attacks. 1.9 million Palestinians are now displaced there. According to the World Food Program, over half the population is threatened by extreme or severe hunger.
No one knows when the world will end. The only thing that's clear is that our own greatest threat is we ourselves. But it also means that we, humankind, have the ball in our court. We have a choice.
Well, I went to the doctor.